Hey guys, tonight we're diving into the curious and often bizarre world of medieval superstitions in England. Picture yourself walking through a misty village, cobblestone streets echoing with the sounds of rustling leaves and distant whispers. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and wood smoke, while shadows dance in the flickering light of torches. As you wander, you sense the weight of age-old beliefs clinging to every corner. You might even feel a chill at your back, as though unseen eyes are watching your every move. Just a heads up, you probably won't survive this journey well, at least your modern sensibilities might. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're at it, why not share where you're tuning in from and what time it is? I find it fascinating how time zones can feel like portals to different worlds. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. As we delve into the fabric of medieval life, it's essential to recognize that superstitions were not mere trifles, they were integral to the social and psychological landscape of the time. People believed that their fates were intertwined with a tapestry of fantastical notions. Whether you were a peasant or a noble, the spectre of superstition loomed large over daily existence, guiding decisions in matters of love, health, and even agriculture. Historians still argue whether these beliefs stemmed from a lack of scientific understanding or if they were a response to the unpredictable and often violent world of the medieval era. What's fascinating is that superstitions provided individuals with a sense of control in a society marked by disease, famine, and warfare. Imagine a farmer preparing to plough his fields, glancing up to see a crow perched ominously on a nearby fence post. In that moment, he might pause, feeling that the crow's presence could foretell a poor harvest. Maybe he mutters a charm or tosses a pinch of salt over his shoulder, all in the hopes of warding off any impending doom. Such rituals were not just quaint little quirks, they were deeply rooted practices meant to navigate a world rife with uncertainty. Delving deeper, we find that numbers held a special place in medieval superstition. The number 13, for instance, was often associated with ill fortune. Lurking in the shadows of taverns and gatherings, the fear of 13 was palpable. This aversion was so strong that many avoided having 13 guests at a feast, a notion that still echoes in our modern-day aversion to Friday the 13th. But that's just scratching the surface. Animal omens also played a significant role in daily life. You might have heard of the phrase "the early bird gets the worm," but in medieval England, seeing a particular animal could either herald good or ill news. An owl hooting in the night was considered a sign of death, while a black cat crossing your path could signify bad luck. These beliefs, often ridiculous to our modern eyes, were just part of a larger narrative woven into the lives of the people. So, as we explore the various facets of medieval superstition, keep in mind that these beliefs were not just oddities, they were a reflection of the human condition, seeking meaning in the chaos of life. From numbers to animals, charms to curses, the medieval mindset was a rich tapestry of fears, hopes, and the ever-present quest for understanding in a world where the supernatural was just a breath away. As we venture further into the depths of medieval superstitions, let's take a moment to explore the curious and sometimes bewildering significance of numbers in this era. In a time when the mysteries of the universe were largely unsolved, numerology held a powerful sway over the minds of medieval people. Numbers were believed to possess intrinsic meanings, almost like ancient runes that could unlock the secrets of fate. Among these, the number 13 stood out as particularly ominous. You might think of it as just another number, but in medieval England, it was often associated with misfortune, perhaps stemming from the biblical Last Supper, where Judas, the betrayer, was the 13th guest. This connection left a lasting mark on the psyche of the time, leading to a general avoidance of anything that came in groups of 13. Imagine being at a banquet and realizing there are exactly 13 guests. There would surely be a hushed panic among those seated, all eyes glancing nervously at one another. It's a thought that could send a shiver down your spine, isn't it? Yet, the number 13 is just the tip of the iceberg. Other numbers also carried significance, with 3 and 7 being seen as lucky. The Holy Trinity of Christianity made the number 3 especially sacred, while 7 was thought to represent divine perfection, echoing the creation story where God created the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th. This belief in the power of numbers wasn't just a curious quirk, it influenced everything from architectural designs to the layout of communities. Historians still argue whether these numerological beliefs were purely superstitious or deeply embedded in the religious fabric of society. What is undeniable is that they shaped behavior, encouraging rituals and practices that sought to align individuals with the favorable energies of the universe. For example, Consider the practice of doing things in threes. Many people believe that if you wanted to be successful, you should say a prayer 3 times or perform an action in a set of 3. This superstition was so widely accepted that one might find villagers gathering to chant a blessing over their crops, repeating the phrases 3 times for good measure, hoping to summon the earth's favor. Animals, too, reflected the beliefs bound up in numbers. The number of legs an animal had could also carry meaning. A 4-legged creature was often seen as more favorable than a 3-legged one, symbolizing completeness and stability. Think of how we tend to anthropomorphize animals today, projecting our own feelings onto them. In medieval England, a cow or sheep with an unusual marking might be viewed as a sign from the heavens, an omen that needed careful interpretation. As we delve deeper into the realm of animal symbolism, let's not overlook the distinct beliefs surrounding specific species. Cats, particularly black ones, were wrapped up in a rich tapestry of superstition. While today, many might consider them charming or downright adorable, in medieval times, a black cat crossing one's path could mean imminent disaster. This belief was rooted in the fear of witchcraft, as black cats were often thought to be witches' familiars. Imagine walking home from the market, your basket of goods in hand, only to see a sleek black cat dart in front of you. Would you risk your evening, or would you turn around and take the longer route home? Conversely, certain animals were seen as harbingers of good luck. A robin's appearance might signal that spring was coming, bringing hope for new beginnings. These whimsical beliefs created a colorful framework through which people interpreted their world. As we sift through these ancient beliefs, it's essential to remember that they offered a sense of control in an unpredictable environment. They provided a narrative for the chaos of life, a way to make sense of the inexplicable. So as you ponder the significance of numbers and animals in medieval England, consider how these beliefs not only shaped decisions but forged a unique cultural identity that resonates even through the ages. Continuing our journey into the fascinating realm of medieval superstitions, we encounter a particularly rich and often enigmatic area, the influence of animals as omens and symbols of fortune. In a society where the natural world was deeply intertwined with the spiritual, every rustle of leaves or call of a creature could carry significant meaning. Imagine walking through a dense forest or a quiet village square, your ears attuned to the sounds of nature, every chirp, howl, and howl resonating with the potential to alter your fate. In medieval England, animals were seen as messengers of the gods, capable of conveying warnings or blessings. This belief was so potent that it shaped the way people lived their everyday lives. For example, the appearance of certain birds was thought to herald good or ill tidings. A chirping robin was often regarded as a sign of hope and renewal, symbolizing the coming of spring's season of rebirth. Conversely, the ominous call of a raven or owl was typically interpreted as a forewarning of death. Imagine the weight of such beliefs hanging over you as you went about your daily tasks, constantly interpreting the signs presented by the wildlife around you. Historians still argue whether these beliefs stemmed from ancient pagan traditions or were later integrated into Christian doctrine. Whichever the case, the pervasive influence of animal symbolism cannot be overstated. A farmer might look out over his field and, upon seeing a hawk circling above, believe that it was a sign of a bountiful harvest. Conversely, if a deer was spotted wandering too close to home, it might be seen as a warning to take extra precautions against bad luck. Not all animals were viewed with equal reverence, however. The domesticated cat, especially those with black fur, had a particularly complex reputation. In many communities, these animals were suspected of being witches' familiars, creatures that could channel dark forces and bring misfortune. Imagine a villager catching sight of a black cat slinking through the alley and feeling a chill run down their spine, as they wondered what dreadful fate awaited them. In contrast, a white cat was often seen as a sign of purity and good fortune. These conflicting views of the feline friends illustrate the duality of belief interwoven into the fabric of daily life. Cattle, too, held significant sway over the beliefs of medieval folk. A cow showing any sign of illness might cause a ripple of panic throughout the village. People would likely gather, whispering fervent prayers or performing rituals to ward off the bad luck thought to be plaguing their livestock. The health of animals was seen as a direct reflection of the health of the family and community. The sick cow was more than just an animal in distress. It was a potential harbinger of misfortune for all. As we explore these animal-related superstitions, it becomes clear that they were not merely whimsical beliefs, but rather a lens through which the people viewed their place in the world. Every creature from the lowly mouse to the mighty stag was imbued with significance, shaping how individuals approached life's uncertainties. Imagine the sense of comfort one might feel believing that they could predict the future based on the behaviors of animals in their surroundings. It's also interesting to note how these beliefs were often shared through oral traditions. Stories of animals behaving in unusual ways circulated in taverns and around fires, creating a shared understanding of the signs to watch for. This collective knowledge provided a sense of community, as people would bond over their interpretations of these signs. Imagine sitting by a crackling fire, the warmth of the flames enveloping you as you listen to an elder recount the tale of a farmer whose life changed after encountering a peculiar owl. Such stories served not only to entertain, but to instill caution and wisdom in the hearts of the listeners. In summary, the superstitions surrounding animals in medieval England created a vibrant tapestry of belief that resonated deeply with the people of the time. From the revered robin, heralding spring, to the feared black cat lurking in the shadows, the natural world was a constant source of inspiration, caution, and reflection. Amidst the chaos of life, these beliefs offered a framework through which individuals could navigate their world unfilled with mystery, magic, and an ever-present connection to the unseen. As we continue our exploration of medieval superstitions, we find ourselves venturing into the shadowy realm of witchcraft and folklore, an arena steeped in fear and fascination that ultimately left an indelible mark on society. Picture yourself in a dimly lit village square, the whispers of townsfolk echoing off the stone walls. A woman with a hunched back and a tattered cloak passes by, her presence igniting hushed murmurs and furtive glances. In this world, the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary is perilously thin, and the spectre of witchcraft hangs heavy in the air. Witchcraft was not merely a topic of gossip, it was a real fear that permeated daily life. The medieval populace understood witchcraft to be a serious threat, one that could bring misfortune, illness, or even death upon whole communities. As such, the trials and tribulations of those accused of witchcraft became a gripping focal point of societal anxiety. The mere suspicion of witchcraft could ruin a person's life. Imagine being a villager, witnessing strange occurrences, a sudden blight on crops, or an unusual illness in livestock, and immediately pointing fingers at the woman living on the edge of town. This scapegoating was common. The fear of the unknown often turned neighbors into enemies. Historians still debate whether this pervasive fear was primarily fueled by genuine belief in witchcraft or if it was a tool used by authorities to exert control over the populace. Some argue it was a reaction to social changes and economic hardships, while others suggest that it was deeply intertwined with the misogynistic attitudes of the era, where women, especially those who were older or single, became prime targets for accusation. The truth likely lies somewhere in between, revealing a complex web of societal pressures and fears that lent themselves to witch hunts. The folklore surrounding witches was rich and varied. Tales of witches flying on broomsticks, casting spells, and holding midnight gatherings in the woods captivated the imaginations of many. These stories served a dual purpose. They entertained and educated, reinforcing societal norms, while simultaneously instilling fear. Perhaps you've heard of the legend of the witching hour, traditionally believed to occur at midnight, when witches were thought to be at their most powerful. If you were caught outside during this time, you might just find yourself ensnared in a web of dark magic. It's important to note that the fear of witchcraft was not confined to England. It was a widespread phenomenon across Europe. The infamous witch hunts of the late medieval and early modern periods saw thousands accused, tortured, and executed. In England alone, towns were torn apart by these accusations, leading to a climate of paranoia. The tale of the Pendle witch trials, for instance, involved a group of 12 individuals accused of witchcraft in 1612, culminating in a trial that became one of the most famous in English history. Imagine the tension in the air, the courtroom filled with anxious spectators as they awaited the verdict, fully aware that the outcome could seal the fates of those on trial. But it wasn't all grim. In some instances, folk magic was seen as a benign practice, a way to harness natural forces for protection or healing. Simple charms and potions were often concocted by wise women, who were respected within their communities for their knowledge of herbs and remedies. These practices blurred the lines between accepted medicine and witchcraft, leading to a complicated relationship with the supernatural. For example, a woman might be called upon to brew a potion to help ease childbirth or to heal a sick child. If the remedy worked, she was celebrated. If not, she faced the risk of being labeled a witch. This precarious balance is reminiscent of how we sometimes regard alternative medicine today, where the line between healing and quackery is often debated. In the end, the fascination with witchcraft and folklore reveals a deep-seated desire to explain the unexplainable. In a world where disease and misfortune could strike without warning, the stories of witches provided a semblance of order. They offered a way to make sense of the chaos, transforming fear into narrative. As you navigate the complexities of daily life, consider how these ancient stories continue to echo through the ages, reminding us of the lengths to which humanity will go to find meaning in the unknown. So, as we reflect on the witch trials and folklore that defined medieval England, we uncover the fears and beliefs that shaped a culture. These tales remind us that every corner of history is coloured by these shadows of its time, the very shadows that still linger in the collective memory of our society. As we turn our attention to the role of the Church in medieval England, we find a powerful institution that was both a spiritual guide and a formidable arbiter of societal beliefs. Imagine yourself attending a Sunday Mass in a grand stone church, the scent of incense thick in the air as the priest's voice echoes throughout the nave. The faithful gather, their heads bowed in reverence, but beneath the surface, a complex relationship with superstition simmers. The Church wielded immense authority during this period, and its influence extended into every corner of daily life. In this climate, superstitions often intertwined with religious beliefs, creating a tapestry of faith that was simultaneously comforting and confining. The clergy preached about the importance of faith, but they also emphasized the need to protect oneself from evil forces. This duality reflected a society struggling to reconcile the spiritual with the supernatural. Historians still argue whether the Church actively propagated superstitions to maintain control over the populace, or if it simply adapted to existing beliefs in order to guide the faithful. Some suggest that while the Church sought to eradicate pagan practices, it inadvertently reinforced superstitions by demonizing them. For instance, the veneration of saints was a practice that emerged as a compromise, allowing the faithful to seek intercession while maintaining a connection to the supernatural world. Consider the role of saints in this narrative. Each saint was believed to possess specific powers and attributes, often linked to the challenges faced by the people. Saint Jude, for example, became the patron saint of lost causes, offering hope to those in despair. Villagers might pray to him during tough times, lighting candles in his honor and invoking his name in hopes of divine intervention. This blend of faith and superstition provided a sense of agency, allowing individuals to feel as if they had some measure of control over their fate. Yet, the Church's stance on certain practices could also lead to suspicion and persecution. The idea of relics, objects associated with saints, was prevalent, and many believed that possessing or touching one could bring about healing or protection. However, the Church was careful to regulate these practices, often condemning those who sought supernatural help outside of its sanctioned framework. This tension created an environment of fear, as the Church warned against seeking aid from heretical sources, essentially anyone who was not part of the established order. In addition to saints and relics, the Church also played a crucial role in shaping beliefs about curses and blessings. The concept of a curse carried significant weight in medieval society. It was believed that powerful individuals could invoke dark forces through words, leading to misfortune for their enemies. A common saying went, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can kill." Imagine a villager, having lost a prized cow, considering whether a neighbor might have uttered ill intentions against them. This fear of curses created an atmosphere of suspicion and distrust, heightening tensions within communities. Conversely, blessings were seen as essential for protection and success. Priests would bless homes, livestock, and crops in elaborate ceremonies, imbuing them with divine favor. A farmer might invite the local priest to bless his fields at the start of the planting season, hoping to ensure a bountiful harvest. The act of blessing became a ritualistic safeguard against the whims of fate, reinforcing the belief that divine intervention could alter the course of everyday life. As you wander through this medieval landscape, you might notice how the Church's influence shaped not only spiritual beliefs but everyday practices as well. The calendar was filled with feast days, each associated with saints and their legends, creating a rhythm to the year that was as much about devotion as it was about superstition. People would mark these occasions with festivities, rituals, and prayers, reflecting a society where the sacred and the superstitious coexisted. In this complex interplay between faith and fear, the Church became both a protector and a preserver of superstition. It offered guidance while simultaneously casting a wary eye towards practices deemed outside the realm of accepted belief. This dual role emphasized the struggle of medieval people to navigate a world filled with uncertainty, where faith in God and fear of the unknown were constantly at odds. As we reflect on the Church's influence, we uncover a nuanced picture of a society steeped in superstition yet longing for spiritual solace. The intersection of belief and skepticism shaped a culture where every prayer, curse, and blessing resonated with the echoes of the divine and the supernatural, illuminating the path through the chaos of medieval life. As we delve deeper into the realm of medieval superstitions, we arrive at a fascinating topic: the use of charms and amulets as objects of protection. Imagine yourself in a bustling village marketplace, the aroma of freshly baked bread mingling with the scent of herbs and spices. Among the vibrant stalls, you might notice vendors displaying an array of trinkets and talismans, each promising to shield the wearer from misfortune or bring good luck. These objects, rich in symbolism and folklore, served as tangible links to the supernatural world. In medieval England, the belief in the power of charms and amulets was pervasive. People carried them in their pockets, hung them around their necks, or placed them under their pillows, hoping to ward off evil spirits or attract favorable outcomes. The materials used varied widely. Some were made of precious metals, while others were crafted from simple herbs or stones. Each charm was, imbued with specific intentions, believed to tap into a deeper cosmic energy. Historians still debate the origins of these practices. Some suggest that they can be traced back to ancient pagan rituals, while others argue that they evolved in tandem with Christian beliefs. Regardless of their roots, these charms became an integral part of daily life. Imagine a woman, worried about her child falling ill, reaching for a small pouch filled with dried herbs and reciting a prayer taught to her by her grandmother. This ritual not only served as a means of comfort, but also reinforced her connection to her family's history and the broader community. The types of charms varied widely, each with its unique significance. For instance, a common charm for protection against illness might include a sprig of rosemary, traditionally associated with healing. You might also come across charms featuring symbols like the pentagram, which was believed to offer protection from malevolent forces. The belief in these symbols was so strong that people would often go to great lengths to procure them from recognized sources, such as local healers or wise women. In addition to protective charms, there were also amulets used to attract love, prosperity, or luck. A woman seeking to find a suitor might wear a charm made from the hair of a horse or a piece of quartz, believing that these items would enhance her desirability. Picture her at a village gathering, nervously clutching her charm, hoping that it would draw attention from the handsome stranger across the way. In this way, charms serve not only as protectors, but as catalysts for change, embodying the hopes and desires of their bearers. While many viewed these practices as harmless superstitions, there were those who believed that relying on charms could be dangerous. The Church, for instance, often condemned the use of charms as witchcraft, warning that seeking protection from anything other than God was both misguided and sinful. This tension between the sacred and the superstitious created an atmosphere of fear, where individuals had to navigate the fine line between seeking help and courting danger. Imagine the anxiety of a villager who, after hearing a sermon denouncing charms, might question whether their protective amulet was a tool of salvation or a gateway to damnation. This inner conflict mirrored the broader societal struggle between faith and superstition, as individuals sought to find security in an uncertain world. Interestingly, the charm's effectiveness often lay in the belief of the user. The act of carrying a charm was an expression of hope, a tangible reminder that there was something greater at work. This phenomenon is reminiscent of modern practices, where people might carry lucky tokens or wear symbols of good fortune. These objects serve as reminders of resilience and agency in the face of life's unpredictability. As we reflect on the use of charms and amulets in medieval England, we see how they provided individuals with a sense of control amidst the chaos. They embodied the intersection of faith, tradition, and human desire, allowing people to navigate their lives with a sense of purpose and hope. Each charm, whether worn or carried, was a testament to the enduring human spirit, the desire to forge connections with the unseen and to find solace in an ever-changing world. As we journey further into the intriguing landscape of medieval superstitions, we come to an important aspect of belief, curses and blessings, and the profound impact of language in shaping reality. Picture yourself in a bustling medieval village, where the air is thick with the sounds of haggling merchants and children playing in the streets. Amidst this lively scene, the spoken word holds immense power, capable of invoking both protection and peril. In the medieval psyche, words were not just tools of communication, they were seen as vessels of magic, capable of producing tangible effects in the world. A curse could bring misfortune, while a blessing could bestow favor and fortune. This belief in the power of language permeated every facet of life, shaping how people interacted with one another and the world around them. Curses, in particular, were feared deeply. The notion that someone could utter a few words and invoke a malevolent force was enough to instill dread in even the stoutest of hearts. Imagine a quarrelsome neighbor, angry over a petty dispute, shaking their fist and declaring a curse upon their adversary. The recipient of that curse would likely feel a chill run down their spine, convinced that their fate was now intertwined with the words spoken in anger. These moments were more than just idle threats. They reflected a deep-seated belief in the consequences of speech. Historians still argue whether the belief in curses was rooted in genuine spiritual conviction or largely a reflection of social dynamics and power plays. While some viewed curses as legitimate threats, others saw them as a means of control, a way to manipulate fear and gain the upper hand in disputes. The fear of curses created an environment of suspicion, where people were quick to attribute their misfortunes to the ill will of others. Conversely, blessings were celebrated as acts of goodwill, often sought after during significant life events such as births, weddings, and harvests. A blessing from a priest or respected elder was believed to invite divine favor and protection. Imagine a bride on her wedding day, kneeling before the altar, receiving a blessing that would ensure happiness and prosperity in her new life. This moment would not only signify a commitment between partners, but also an acknowledgement of the community's support and the divine's watchful eye. Language played a crucial role in the act of blessing. Specific phrases or incantations were employed to invoke divine favor, often steeped in tradition and ritual. The repetition of these phrases was thought to amplify their power, linking the speaker to a long lineage of believers and practitioners. This practice is reminiscent of modern rituals, where people recite affirmations or engage in prayers, seeking to manifest their desires into reality. One particularly interesting aspect of curses and blessings is how they often intersected with the broader societal norms of the time. For example, a curse might be directed not only at an individual but also at their family, or even an entire community. In this way, curses could serve as a form of social commentary, expressing grievances or discontent with the status quo. Imagine a villager, feeling unjustly treated by the local lord, invoking a curse that would bring misfortune upon the lord's estate. Such actions reflected the deep-seated frustrations and desires for justice within the community. The pervasive nature of these beliefs also led to the development of charm-like phrases or rituals that individuals would use to protect themselves from curses. A common practice involved reciting specific words or actions believed to counteract any ill effects. Imagine a person feeling anxious after a heated argument. They might carry a small piece of cloth and whisper a protective phrase to shield themselves from any potential backlash. These rituals provided a sense of agency, allowing people to feel that they had some control over their destinies. As we explore the significance of curses and blessings in medieval England, it becomes clear that language was a powerful tool that shaped the beliefs and behaviors of individuals. The spoken word was imbued with meaning and consequence, serving as a bridge between the mundane and the magical. In a world filled with uncertainty, these beliefs provided comfort and clarity, allowing people to navigate the complexities of their lives with a sense of purpose and hope. So, as we reflect on the power of language in the context of curses and blessings, we see how these beliefs resonate through time, echoing in our own practices and rituals. They remind us that words hold power capable of creating, transforming, and even protecting in the ever-unfolding narrative of human existence. As we continue to unravel the intricate web of medieval superstitions, we arrive at an important theme: the supernatural's influence on daily life and the everyday beliefs that permeated the fabric of society. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine wandering through a quaint medieval village, where peasants and nobles alike are constantly aware of the unseen forces at play around them. Each gust of wind, each flicker of candlelight, and every rustling leaf carries the weight of expectations and fears, guiding actions and decisions. In this era, the boundary between the natural and supernatural world was fluid, allowing for a dynamic interplay that shaped daily routines. People consulted calendars filled with saints' feast days and agricultural festivals, believing that the alignment of celestial bodies could influence crops, health, and fortune. Imagine a farmer preparing for the planting season, carefully checking the lunar calendar to determine the optimal times for sowing seed, heeding the wisdom of generations that suggested planting during a full moon would yield a better harvest. Historians still debate the extent to which these beliefs were practical or purely superstitious. While some argue these practices had roots in agricultural wisdom, others assert that they stemmed from a deep-seated need to find meaning in an unpredictable world. In truth, these beliefs often represented a blend of both, with ancient customs evolving over time to incorporate new religious ideas and societal norms. As we delve deeper, we find that specific rituals were often tied to everyday activities. For instance, the act of baking bread was laden with superstitions. If a baker were to accidentally drop a loaf, it was believed that bad luck would follow. Villagers would often whisper a quick prayer or spout a blessing over the loaves before baking, seeking divine favor in their daily sustenance. Imagine the camaraderie among neighbors, sharing stories of their baking rituals and the slight variations each family would adopt, all in the name of good fortune. The influence of the supernatural also extended to notions of illness. and healing. People often believed that sickness could be the result of malevolent spirits or curses, and they sought remedies through both traditional medicine and folk practices. A healer might mix herbs to create potions, while also incorporating prayers or charms to ward off evil influences. This blending of physical and spiritual realms reflects a holistic approach to understanding health and wellness, where the body and spirit were seen as intertwined. Picture a villager suffering from a fever, visiting a local healer who reaches for both herbs and a crucifix, reciting blessings as she prepares a remedy. This practice embodies the spirit of the times and acknowledgement that health was not merely the absence of illness, but a harmonious balance between the physical and the metaphysical. These daily interactions with the supernatural fostered a communal bond among villagers. Storytelling became a vital tool for sharing beliefs, with tales of miraculous cures or eerie encounters with spirits passed down from generation to generation. Imagine sitting around a fire on a chilly evening, the flickering flames casting dancing shadows as an elder shares a tale of a lost soul who wandered the woods, reminding listeners to respect the unseen world. Such stories reinforced societal norms and shared values, creating a collective identity rooted in common beliefs. In addition to the communal aspect, personal superstitions also flourished. Actions like throwing salt over one's shoulder or carrying a lucky charm became deeply ingrained habits, often passed down through families. A mother might teach her child to knock on wood to avoid jinxing a good outcome, embedding this ritual into the fabric of their daily life. These small, symbolic gestures offered comfort and agency, allowing individuals to navigate their lives amidst uncertainties. As we navigate the landscape of everyday beliefs and their ties to the supernatural, it becomes evident that these superstitions were more than just quaint oddities, they were vital components of cultural identity. They provided a lens through which individuals understood their world, offering hope and protection in a time filled with challenges. So, as we reflect on the influence of the supernatural in daily life, consider how these beliefs echo through the ages, shaping our own interactions with the unseen. They remind us that, beneath the surface of our modern lives, ancient narratives still pulse with life, guiding us in our quest for understanding and connection. As we continue to explore the rich tapestry of medieval superstitions, we now turn our attention to the role of folktales, those enchanting stories filled with wonder, morality, and the supernatural. These narratives, passed down through generations, served not only as entertainment, but also as a means of imparting wisdom and shaping beliefs. Imagine gathering around a warm fire on a cold winter's night, the flickering flames illuminating eager faces as an elder begins to weave a tale that dances between reality and myth. Folktales were an integral part of medieval culture, often reflecting the values, fears, and aspirations of the community. They provided a framework for understanding the complexities of life, offering moral lessons that resonated deeply with the audience. Many of these stories featured characters grappling with the supernatural, encountering witches, fairies, or enchanted animals that tested their courage and wit. These encounters often served as metaphors for real-life challenges, illustrating the struggle between good and evil, knowledge and ignorance. Historians still debate the origins and evolution of these folktales. Some suggest that they have ancient roots, drawing from pre-Christian traditions and pagan beliefs. Others argue that they were shaped by the Christian Church, which sought to supplant pagan customs with stories that aligned with its teachings. Regardless of their origins, these narratives became a vital tool for transmitting cultural norms, connecting individuals to their heritage and community. Consider the tale of a brave knight who ventures into a dark forest, where he encounters a wise old woman who warns him of a looming curse. The knight, initially skeptical, soon finds himself facing trials that test his character and resolve. Such stories instill the importance of bravery, humility, and the consequences of one's choices. They remind listeners that the path to righteousness is often fraught with peril, encouraging them to learn from the experiences of others. As we delve deeper into the world of folktales, we find that they were often intertwined with superstitions. Many stories served as cautionary tales, warning against behaviors deemed dangerous or foolish. For instance, tales of young maidens who wandered too close to enchanted forests often ended in disaster, reinforcing the idea that curiosity could lead to dire consequences. Imagine a young girl hearing the story of a maiden who ignored warnings and ventured into the woods, only to be lured into a fairy's trap, never to return. This narrative would serve as a poignant reminder to respect boundaries, both in nature and society. Moreover, folktales often featured recurring motifs that echoed the common fears and hopes of the time. Animals played a significant role, not only as characters, but as symbols imbued with deeper meanings. A cunning fox might represent trickery, while a noble lion could embody strength and loyalty. These animal characters allowed individuals to explore complex themes in a relatable and accessible manner, creating a shared language that resonated with audiences of all ages. The communal aspect of storytelling also fostered a sense of identity and belonging. Folk gatherings would often center around these tales, with storytellers captivating their audience through dramatic gestures and expressive voices. Imagine the laughter and gasps of astonishment as listeners lean forward, fully immersed in the unfolding drama. These communal experiences not only entertained but also reinforced social cohesion, allowing individuals to bond over shared narratives and mutual understanding. As we reflect on the significance of folktales in the context of medieval superstitions, we see how they served as a bridge between the known and the unknown. They provided a means of navigating the complexities of life, offering both cautionary wisdom and hopeful inspiration. In a world filled with uncertainty, these stories allowed individuals to find solace in the familiar rhythms of narrative, crafting a shared cultural legacy that continues to resonate through the ages. Folktales, rich with symbolism and moral lessons, remind us of the power of storytelling as a way to illuminate the human experience. They connect us to our past while allowing us to examine our present, inviting us to reflect on our own beliefs and the narratives we choose to carry forward. As we journey deeper into the realm of medieval superstitions, we now turn our gaze towards the mysterious and often ambiguous world of dreams and omens. Picture yourself lying in a simple straw-filled bed, the sounds of the nocturnal world drifting through a cracked window. As you drift into sleep, the boundary between dreams and reality blurs, and within this hazy realm, spirits and symbols come alive, whispering secrets about the future and revealing truths hidden in the shadows of your mind. In medieval England, dreams were not merely seen as random occurrences of the sleeping mind. They were imbued with profound significance and often regarded as messages from the divine or the supernatural. People believed that dreams could provide insights, warnings, or premonitions about future events, making them a subject of both fascination and fear. Imagine a villager waking from a vivid dream in which a beloved relative appeared, urging them to take caution. This experience could send ripples of anxiety through their waking life, prompting immediate reflection and action. Historians still debate the role of dreams in medieval society, with some arguing that they were viewed as a legitimate means of divine communication, while others suggest they were simply a product of the mind's fears and desires. Regardless of the interpretation, the significance placed on dreams was undeniable. Dream interpretation became a common practice, with various texts and guides circulating among the literate. People would seek out dream interpreters, individuals knowledgeable in the art of divination, to help unravel the meanings of their nocturnal visions. Consider a dream in which a person sees a snake slithering through a garden. This symbol could be interpreted in various ways, depending on the context and the dreamer's personal experiences. Some might see it as a warning of betrayal or deceit, while others might view it as a representation of transformation and renewal. The ambiguity of dreams allowed for multiple interpretations, often reflecting the dreamer's fears, hopes, and internal struggles. The practice of dream interpretation was closely linked to the belief in omen signs that could predict future occurrences based on everyday events. For instance, witnessing a flock of birds flying in a specific direction or encountering a particular animal could be seen as an omen that required careful consideration. Imagine a farmer observing a crow circling overhead. Whether he interpreted this as a bad omen or a sign to take caution could dictate his actions for the coming days. This reliance on omens reflected a desire for control in an unpredictable world, where people sought to glean insights from the signs provided by nature. In addition to personal dreams and omens, collective beliefs shaped the way communities interpreted significant events. A sudden storm or an unusual harvest could be viewed as a message from the heavens, prompting discussions among villagers about their spiritual state and the need for collective action, perhaps a day of penance or a festival of gratitude. Such communal interpretations reinforced social bonds, allowing individuals to unite under a shared understanding of the world around them. The impact of dreams and omens extended beyond individual lives, influencing societal norms and expectations. Certain dreams, particularly those that involved prophetic visions or messages from saints, could lead to the rise of charismatic leaders or movements as people rallied around the perceived divine inspiration. The dream of a saint advising a conflict-hardened ruler could catalyze a change in leadership or policy, impacting entire regions. As we reflect on the importance of dreams and omens in medieval England, we uncover a world where the boundaries between the physical and spiritual were fluid and interconnected. Dreams provided an avenue for exploring the unknown, inviting individuals to seek meaning in their experiences while grappling with their fears and uncertainties. In this way, dream interpretation and the analysis of omens became vital tools for navigating life's complexities, blending the ordinary with the extraordinary in a dance that continues to resonate with us today. The echoes of this belief system can still be felt, reminding us of the timeless human quest for understanding in the face of the unknowable. As we delve deeper into the realm of medieval superstitions, we now turn to the influence of the seasons, those cyclical changes that governed not only agricultural practices, but also the beliefs and rituals surrounding nature's transformations. Picture yourself standing in a lush meadow, surrounded by the vibrant colors of spring as the sun breaks through the clouds, or perhaps you are watching the leaves turn gold and crimson in the cool air of autumn. The changing seasons were not merely markers of time, they were imbued with rich symbolism and superstitions that dictated how people lived their daily lives. In medieval England, the seasons shaped the rhythm of existence, guiding everything from planting and harvesting to festivals and communal gatherings. Each season was associated with particular activities and rituals, often rooted in the belief that maintaining harmony with the natural world was essential for survival. Imagine a community preparing for the planting season, organizing a festival to honor the earth and seek blessings for a bountiful harvest. Such events reinforced social bonds, allowing villagers to unite in a shared purpose and anticipation. Historians still debate the extent to which seasonal rituals were practical responses to agricultural cycles versus expressions of deeper spiritual beliefs. Some argue that these practices arose from ancient pagan traditions, while others suggest that they evolved as Christianity took hold, intertwining with new religious narratives. Regardless of their origins, the significance of the seasons in shaping beliefs and behaviors is undeniable. Spring, for instance, was a time of renewal and fertility, celebrated with festivals that honored the earth's awakening. People believed that the arrival of spring brought with it the return of life and vitality, as plants began to bloom and animals emerged from their hibernation. Rituals often included planting seeds with specific prayers or charms, invoking divine favor to ensure a prosperous growing season. Imagine farmers gathering in fields, their hands stained with soil, whispering prayers to ensure that their crops would thrive. As the seasons progressed, summer brought warmth and abundance, offering opportunities for harvest and celebration. This was a time when communities came together for festivities, giving thanks for the bounty of nature. Feasting, dancing, and merriment characterized these gatherings, as people sought to express gratitude for the gifts of the land. Yet, with abundance came the fear of drought or blight, leading some to engage in rituals to appease the spirits that governed the weather. Picture villagers performing rain dances or making offerings to ensure their crops received the life-giving waters they so desperately needed. Autumn, with its rich hues and crisp air, was often associated with the harvest and the cycle of life and death. This transitional period was marked by rituals that honored both the bounty of the earth and the inevitability of winter. Festivals such as Samhain, an ancient Celtic celebration, were observed, where the boundary between the living and the dead was believed to be thin. Imagine villagers lighting bonfires and preparing feasts, inviting their ancestors to join them in celebration. This connection to the past reinforced a sense of continuity and belonging within the community, reminding individuals of their place in the greater tapestry of life. Winter, however, brought with it a sense of foreboding and vulnerability. The cold and darkness were often associated with death and hardship, instilling a deep sense of fear about survival. People engaged in rituals to ward off evil spirits and ensure safety through the long nights. The winter solstice, marking the return of light, was celebrated with feasts and gatherings as communities sought to inspire hope in the face of adversity. Picture villagers huddled around a fire, sharing stories of resilience and hope, their laughter echoing against the darkened sky. The influence of the seasons extended beyond mere agricultural practices. It permeated daily life and spiritual beliefs. Superstitions surrounding specific days, such as the belief that certain dates in the lunar calendar were more auspicious for activities, reflect the intertwining of time, nature, and divine influence. The phases of the moon were closely observed, with many believing that certain lunar cycles were more favorable for planting or harvesting. As we reflect on the significance of the seasons in medieval superstition, we see how the natural world served as both a guide and a mirror for human experiences. People sought to align themselves with the rhythms of nature, engaging in rituals and practices that honored the interconnectedness of life. These beliefs offered a sense of agency and understanding, providing a framework for navigating the uncertainties of existence. The echoes of these seasonal beliefs continue to resonate today, reminding us of our connection to the earth and the cycles that govern our lives. Just as medieval villagers sought harmony with nature, we too can draw inspiration from their practices, finding solace in the rhythms of life that bind us together in a shared journey. As we explore further into the intriguing realm of medieval superstitions, we now encounter the influence of the four elements: fire, water, earth, and air. These elemental forces were not merely physical phenomena in medieval England. They were deeply woven into the fabric of belief, shaping the cultural landscape and informing perspectives on life, death, and the supernatural. Imagine standing in a vibrant meadow, the wind rustling through the grass. As you ponder the significance of these elemental forces, each a unique symbol of power, balance, and mystery. Each element was believed to embody specific qualities and characteristics, influencing the way people perceived their world. Fire, for instance, symbolized transformation, passion, and purification. It was revered not only as a source of warmth and light, but also as a vehicle for spiritual cleansing. Think about the rituals that involved fire. People would often light candles during religious ceremonies or bonfires during festivals, believing that the flames would carry their prayers to the heavens. The act of casting a log onto the fire while making a wish was a common practice, reflecting the belief that fire could facilitate communication with the divine. Historians still debate the extent to which these elemental beliefs were rooted in ancient pagan traditions versus their evolution within a Christian context. Some suggest that the reverence for fire as a transformative force can be traced back to pre-Christian practices, where it played a crucial role in agricultural cycles. Others argue that the Church's adoption of fire in rituals emphasized its dual nature, serving both as a symbol of divine light and a tool for judgment. Regardless of its origins, fire held a significant place in the hearts and minds of medieval people. Water, on the other hand, was associated with life, fertility, and healing. Rivers and springs were often deemed sacred, believed to possess curative properties. Villagers would flock to these waters, seeking relief from ailments or blessings for fertility. Picture a community gathering at a nearby river, their voices mingling with the sound of flowing water as they dip their hands into the cool, clear stream, whispering prayers for health and prosperity. The element of water reminded people of the cyclical nature of life, of birth, death, and rebirth. Earth, often regarded as the mother of all sustenance, symbolized stability, nourishment, and growth. It was the earthly womb, yielding crops and providing shelter. The reverence for the earth was deeply ingrained in agricultural practices, where rituals were performed to honor the land. Farmers might offer a portion of their harvest to the earth in gratitude, believing that such acts would ensure future bounty. Imagine a farmer standing in his field at harvest time, kneeling to place the first sheaf of grain back into the soil, an offering to the land that had supported him and his family. Air, the final element, represented the breath of life and the realm of the spirit. It was associated with thoughts, aspirations, and communication. The winds were often thought to carry messages from the divine, guiding decisions and influencing fortunes. People believed that the direction of the wind could foreshadow outcomes. An east wind could bring good harvests, while a south wind might signal storms. Weaving through the fabric of daily life, air encouraged a sense of connection to the unseen forces of the world. Consider how villagers might stand outside, eyes turned to the sky, interpreting the signs of the wind and adjusting their routines accordingly. As people navigated their daily lives, the interplay between these four elements shaped their understanding of the world. The belief in the elemental forces fostered a deep respect for nature, encouraging individuals to seek harmony and balance in their surroundings. This reverence is reminiscent of modern environmental movements, where the interconnectedness of life is celebrated and honored. The influence of the four elements also extended into the realm of superstitions and rituals. Specific actions were often associated with elements in order to harness their power. For instance, sprinkling water on crops during a drought was believed to invite rain, while lighting candles during a storm was thought to ward off danger. Such practices reflected a desire to engage with the elemental forces, seeking their favor to navigate life's uncertainties. The beliefs surrounding the four elements remind us of the timeless human quest for understanding in an ever-changing world. They serve as a powerful reminder of our connection to nature and the elements that shape our lives. As we reflect on these ancient beliefs, we see how they offer insights into the human experience, an invitation to engage with the world around us, to seek balance and to find meaning in the elemental forces that continue to influence our lives today. As we continue our exploration of medieval superstitions, we now turn our attention to the fascinating beliefs surrounding spirits and ghosts, those ethereal entities that haunted the collective imagination of medieval England. Imagine yourself in a dimly lit village, the wind howling through the trees, as shadows stretch ominously in the flickering light of candles. In this world, the presence of spirits was a palpable reality, shaping the beliefs and actions of everyday life. The concept of spirits and ghosts was deeply ingrained in medieval thought, with many believing that the souls of the departed lingered among the living. These beliefs were influenced by both Christian teachings and ancient pagan traditions, creating a complex tapestry of understanding regarding the afterlife. Picture a villager who has lost a loved one, finding comfort in the belief that their spirit continues to watch over them, guiding and protecting them in life's trials. This notion provided solace in the face of grief, reinforcing the idea that death was not an end, but a transition. Historians still debate the origins and interpretations of beliefs surrounding spirits. Some argue that the medieval fascination with ghosts stemmed from a need to confront mortality and the mysteries of the afterlife, while others suggest it was a reflection of societal fears and anxieties about the unknown. Regardless of their origins, these beliefs played a significant role in shaping the cultural landscape of the time. Ghosts were often associated with unfinished business or unresolved issues, prompting rituals and practices intended to appease wandering souls. Imagine a family gathering at the grave of a deceased relative, lighting candles and leaving offerings of food and drink, believing that these gestures would provide comfort to the spirit and help them find peace. Such practices not only honored the dead, but also served as a way for the living to cope with loss, fostering a connection that transcended the boundaries of life and death. Moreover, the fear of malevolent spirits also permeated medieval society. The idea that certain entities could cause harm or misfortune led to a variety of protective rituals and charms. People would often seek the guidance of wise women or local healers, who were believed to have the knowledge to ward off evil spirits. Imagine a villager consulting a healer, who provides a charm made from herbs or a simple incantation meant to protect against the lurking dangers of the night. This reliance on protective measures illustrates the depth of fear regarding the unseen forces that could disrupt everyday life. The belief in spirits also influenced societal norms and practices surrounding death and burial. Funerary rites were often elaborate, designed to honor the deceased and ensure a smooth passage into the afterlife. Communities would come together for wakes and memorial services, reinforcing social bonds and collective mourning. Imagine the somber procession to the churchyard, where villagers gather to pay their respects, each sharing stories that keep the memories of the departed alive. Such communal practices fostered a sense of unity and support in the face of grief, allowing individuals to navigate their loss together. In addition to personal encounters with spirits, tales of hauntings and ghostly apparitions circulated widely, often serving as cautionary tales. These stories reflected societal fears and values, warning against behaviors deemed inappropriate or dangerous. For instance, a story might recount the tale of a greedy merchant who, after his death, became a vengeful ghost, haunting those who wronged him during his lifetime. Such narratives reinforced moral lessons, encouraging individuals to consider their actions and the potential consequences in both life and death. As we reflect on the beliefs surrounding spirits and ghosts in medieval England, we uncover a world rich with emotion, fear, and hope. The presence of the supernatural provided a framework for understanding mortality and the mysteries of existence. Ghosts were not merely figures of fear, they embodied the longing for connection, guiding the living as they traversed the complexities of life. The fascination with spirits reminds us that the human experience transcends the boundaries of the tangible world. It invites us to explore the unseen, to recognize the power of memory and connection that endures beyond death. As we examine these beliefs, we see how they continue to resonate today, reminding us of our innate curiosity and desire to understand the mysteries of life and the afterlife. As we delve deeper into the fascinating world of medieval superstitions, we now turn to a captivating aspect of belief: the regional variations in superstitions across England. Picture yourself travelling through the diverse landscapes of medieval England, from the rolling hills of the Cotswolds to the rugged coastline of Cornwall. Each region, with its unique traditions and folklore, offered a rich tapestry of beliefs that reflected the local culture, history, and environment. Throughout medieval England, geographical differences played a significant role in shaping the superstitions that flourished within communities. From the bustling urban centres to the remote countryside, people adapted their beliefs to align with their surroundings, experiences, and the influences of neighbouring cultures. This regionalism created a vibrant mosaic of superstitions that varied from one place to another, sometimes even within the same county. Historians still debate the extent to which regional differences in superstition were influenced by historical events, migrations, and cultural exchanges. Some argue that localized beliefs often originated from ancient pagan practices, while others suggest that they evolved from the interactions between different communities over time. Regardless of their origins, these variations illustrate the rich diversity of thought and belief across medieval England. For example, in the coastal areas of Cornwall, the belief in mermaids and sea spirits was particularly pronounced. Fishermen would often tell tales of enchanting mermaids who could lure sailors to their doom with their beautiful songs. Imagine standing on a windswept cliff, listening to the crashing waves below, as a fisherman recites a cautionary tale about a wayward sailor who was seduced by a mermaid, only to be lost to the depths of the sea. Such stories served as both entertainment and warnings, cautioning against reckless behavior in the face of nature's unpredictable forces. In contrast, the northern regions of England were often steeped in tales of fairies and otherworldly beings. In these areas, communities believed in the good people, a term used to describe fairies who could bring good fortune or mischief, depending on their mood. Folk rituals were often employed to appease these magical beings, from leaving offerings of food to performing specific dances during harvest festivals. Imagine a group of villagers gathering to dance under the moonlight, hoping to attract the favor of the fairies for a prosperous season. Such practices reinforced a sense of community and connectedness to the land. Meanwhile, in the Midlands, superstitions surrounding agricultural practices were prevalent. Farmers closely observed the behaviors of animals as indicators of weather and fortune, often interpreting signs from the natural world. For instance, if a cow was unusually restless, it might be interpreted as a warning of impending storms. Rituals were performed to ensure a bountiful harvest, with charms and blessings invoked before planting. Picture a farmer standing in his field, reciting an old incantation as he scatters seeds, believing that the words will invoke the earth's favor. In urban settings like London, superstitions often intersected with the hustle and bustle of city life. The rise of commerce and trade brought new beliefs and practices influenced by a diverse population. For instance, street vendors might sell charms and talismans to ward off the evils of the city, each item steeped in cultural significance. The belief in the evil eye was also prevalent, as people sought to protect themselves from envious gazes that were thought to bring misfortune. Imagine a woman walking through crowded streets, discreetly clutching a small charm in her pocket, hoping to shield herself from the envy of others. These regional variations were not only a reflection of local culture, but also a means of preserving community identity. The sharing of stories, rituals, and superstitions allowed people to connect with their heritage, reinforcing social bonds and creating a sense of belonging. Imagine villagers gathering around a fire, their laughter and conversation filled with stories unique to their area, creating a shared cultural legacy that would endure through generations. As we reflect on the regional diversity of superstitions in medieval England, we uncover a fascinating landscape shaped by history, geography, and cultural exchange. These beliefs, while differing from one community to another, reveal a common thread: the human desire to make sense of the world and navigate the uncertainties of life. The tapestry of regional superstitions invites us to appreciate the richness of human experience, reminding us that our beliefs and practices are often influenced by the environments we inhabit. In exploring these variations, we gain a deeper understanding of the myriad ways in which people have sought to connect with the unknown, weaving their stories into the fabric of their communities. As we conclude our journey through the fascinating world of medieval superstitions, we reflect on the enduring legacy of these beliefs and how they continue to resonate in contemporary society. Picture yourself in a cozy armchair, perhaps with a warm drink in hand, as you contemplate the strange and wondrous ways in which our ancestors sought to navigate the complexities of their lives. The superstitions that once permeated medieval England might seem distant, yet their echoes can still be felt today in various aspects of modern life. Throughout history, superstitions have provided comfort and a sense of agency in an unpredictable world. They allowed individuals to interpret the events surrounding them, offering explanations for misfortune and guiding their behaviors. Many of these age-old beliefs have transcended time, finding new life in our contemporary practices. For instance, consider the pervasive fear of the number 13, which has persisted through the ages. Whether it's the omission of the 13th floor in buildings or the superstition surrounding Friday the 13th, this aversion reflects a cultural continuity that connects us to our medieval forebears. Historians still argue about the relevance of these superstitions in today's context. Some contend that they are remnants of a bygone era, while others believe they still serve vital functions in modern psychology and culture. For many, superstitions provide a framework for understanding and coping with the uncertainties of life. Just as medieval individuals carried charms and recited incantations, people today might rely on lucky items or rituals to navigate life's challenges, be it wearing a favorite outfit for a big meeting or following a specific routine before an important event. Moreover, the fascination with the supernatural remains a potent force in contemporary culture. The popularity of ghost stories, paranormal investigations, and folklore reveals a deep-seated curiosity about what lies beyond the veil of everyday experience. Just as medieval villagers gathered around the fire to share tales of spirits and omens, modern society continues to engage with these themes through literature, film, and television. Horror stories and supernatural dramas tap into our primal fears and desires, reflecting a timeless interest in the unknown. Additionally, the resurgence of interest in folk practices and alternative healing methods echoes the medieval reliance on charms, herbal remedies, and rituals. Many individuals today seek holistic approaches to health and well-being, incorporating traditions that mirror those of their medieval ancestors. The use of crystals, herbal teas, and energy healing practices reflects an enduring belief in the interconnectedness of body, mind, and spirit, a belief that was central to medieval superstitions. As we look back on the beliefs about dreams, omens, and the elemental forces that shaped medieval life, we can see that these ideas encourage us to explore our relationship with nature and the universe. The cycles of the seasons, the significance of plants and animals, and the mysteries of life and death continue to resonate, reminding us of our place within a larger cosmic order. In reflecting on the legacy of medieval superstitions, we recognize that they were more than just quaint oddities. They were manifestations of human curiosity, fear, and hope. They provided a lens through which people sought to understand their world, navigate their experiences, and forge connections with each other and the divine. As you contemplate the rich tapestry of beliefs that has shaped humanity, consider how these ancient narratives continue to inform our understanding of the world. They remind us that, despite the advances in knowledge and science, the human experience is still deeply intertwined with mystery and wonder. In closing, the journey through the superstitions of medieval England has illuminated a path of understanding that transcends time. It invites us to acknowledge the wisdom of our ancestors while also recognizing our ongoing quest for meaning in an ever-evolving world. As we navigate our lives today, let us carry forward the lessons of the past, embracing the quirks and mysteries that make us human.